Hello.
Hi, everybody. Good
Welcome,
Hello.
evening.
everybody.
I want to say hi, Corinna. Corinna said hello, Queens. I love that. I've never been called that in my life, but now I should be.
And Rodolfo, how do you feel about being called a queen?
I'm okay. I'm okay
Yeah.
for now. For today, maybe. I'm okay. Yes. I don't know if it's a hat that I will always like to wear, but for today it's perfect.
A hat that I like to wear. I like
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
Hey guys, thank you everybody for introducing yourself. We have so many people joining us. We have Carrie, Kathy. Oh, Kathy's going to be on a call with us coming up. So thank you for joining us. Karina, of course. Terry, we have um, Cheryl Ann. I love that. Lovey's here.
Hi,
We have
Lovey.
Cynthia. We have Terry. We have Jasmine. We have Michelle. Keep introducing yourselves, guys. Let us know where you're from, what kind of surgery you've had or planning to have, if you're post-op or pre-op, if you've had some weight loss you want to share, all that good stuff. Keep it coming. The chat box we will continually watch. Just some housekeeping things here. We'll continually watch all throughout the presentation that's to be shared between you and this whole community. There's an ask a question feature. Be sure and use that with your questions because we will timestamp those onto the video so they'll be available for the replay in case you need to jump off and you would come back to the answer. We also, I want to make sure, and I'm going to say this several times during the call, I want you guys to vote. We have
Yes,
4
please.
questions under a poll at the bottom of your screen. I think it's if you're on your phone, because there is a Crowdcast app on the phones, smartphones, it should be on there too. But there's 4 questions, and it basically will help us know. The first one is about our weekly lives. The second one is our monthly support groups, which we offer 4 weekly lives. We offer 1 monthly support group. And the questions pertain to the frequency of email reminders and the best time to watch an event. So please answer those. And
Excellent.
Help us be better.
Exactly.
Exactly. And then I just want to do a short introduction and then we'll all introduce ourselves. So today we are so happy to have Rodolfo here. He has, I think it's your 3rd event with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
We absolutely love Rodolfo. We met him at a bariatric retreat in Ohio. He was there as a vendor talking about his coaching program and we fell in love with him. And just really, we've had several other events. I know the bariatric retreat in Florida. We got to see you there. Has there been others? I'm trying to think if there's been
No,
others.
those two. Those just two for now. For now.
For now. And then we've done some events together here on this channel.
And we did pick him up that one time from his hotel when he was a stranger. So, Rodolfo, I don't know if I ever told you that story or not, but whenever we came to Ohio, and it was the 3 of us, it was me, Brenda, and Mandy. The 3 of us were together, and it was so funny because we're on our way to the hotel, and it was like a 2-hour drive from the airport. And I told the girls, I said, oh, by the way, tomorrow morning we need to pick up Rodolfo. Don't let me forget. And everyone in the car was, who's Rodolfo? And Mandy made a joke. She goes, Brittany, you're always picking up strays. And I said, yeah, I am. So
It worked out for the best.
It did.
We're glad we got to meet you.
Yeah, I was glad too. And thanks for picking me up because in the
Of
middle of the
course.
snow, I didn't know how I
Oh
would
my gosh,
commute
it was horrible, wasn't it?
Yes.
This is a snowstorm. But we'll kind of get things started. For those of you guys don't know, I'll do my first introduction. I'll let Brittany and then we'll let Rodolfo take the stage. So for those of you guys who don't know us, my name is Brenda. I've been with the ProCare team for about, years. 2 years full time and then 2 years before that as a consultant. And then I've known them since about 2012. My role before ProCare was working in a bariatric surgery department at a hospital setting, and I was a coordinator. And we sold their vitamins out of our clinic, and we actually sold vitamins from lots of other vendors, but they were my favorites. I'm not going to lie. And we just developed a close relationship with them, and started traveling with them to vendor events and stuff before I started with them full time. So my background is in nursing. I also have a life coaching degree, a certificate, and a certification in a holistic technique called Healing Touch. I love energy type of work and personal growth. Always been interested in this stuff. So I did support groups for our clinic before we came here, and actually ProCare Health did support groups for our clinic. It's kind of funny. It's kind of reverse turnaround. So that's a little bit about me. I also had a VSG, a weight loss surgery, back in 2013. So I try to bring in all those experiences as we kind of get started. And Brittany, tell them about yourself and also your news. She's got big news, guys.
I will share the big news, yes. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Brittany. I've been on this journey with Brenda doing these support groups in our weekly live events since the very beginning. So it does make me very sad to say that I did just put in my 2 weeks yesterday with ProCare Health. I have accepted a new position with a pharmaceutical company. So I accepted a pharmaceutical sales representative position. So I'm very excited about it. For anyone who knows me, that's what I went to school for. That's why I got my degree. So this is a very positive change, but at the same time, it's just sad. I'm going to miss my ProCare people. I was just telling Rodolfo before we logged on to the call that I'm going to miss talking to everybody. And you guys, I have to be honest. I've always said this from the very beginning. These support groups were my favorite part of my job. So I'm really going to miss you guys the most. And I really mean that. Thanks guys. Everybody's saying congratulations. Thank you so much. And just know I'll miss you guys. But I also think that Brenda and I have a couple projects, maybe at least one that I know of. So as I said yesterday, this isn't goodbye. This is probably just see you guys later. So
we hope. Yeah.
So I've been with ProCare for 2 years. I'm still an account representative. So if you have any questions about any of their products or anything about ProCare in general, I'm your girl. I'm also here to just help answer questions in general. And we actually do have quite a few questions. So I just want to say that so we make sure that we answer them. But I'm going to hand it off to Rodolfo so he can tell you guys a little bit about himself in case you haven't seen him yet on our channel.
Excellent. So we're going to miss you. My name is Rodolfo Alvarez, and I'm a wellness coach. I'm from Chile, and currently I'm living in Miami, actually. I moved 2 months ago. So I would like to share a little about my background. As I told you, I'm a wellness coach. In the year 2015, I set up in Chile a center called Inspira. What was Inspira's approach? My country had and has critical rates of overweight. And me, with a group of entrepreneurs, knew that the solutions that were offered were not enough. The solutions focused on diets, and our perspective was that people had overweight issues because there was something more complex that we needed to fix, related to managing emotions and understanding the mindset that was producing the behavior, right? So we started with this center, as I told you, and we ran a program called Balance. And I've been working on that since 2015. And I started developing other types of programs related to sex life. Actually, I did a broadcast here at ProCare related to sex life, related to anxiety management, mindfulness. And fortunately, this year, in January, I went to Ohio to the retreat. And I've been working with the community, with the bariatric community from the US. Okay, and that's one of the reasons that I moved here too. So what I would like to do with you is to share part of the tools that during my professional journey I've noticed that help people to start making a change in their mindsets. I understand that this is not about the weight, this is about the relationship that we have with food. And it's about learning to manage our emotions, learning to manage our thoughts. And that's what I would like to share with you tonight.
Sounds great. We have a comment that I just want to share because I think that we can all agree that we were probably in this boat at one point within the last 2 years. Terry said, from Indianapolis and had gastric bypass 5 years ago during the pandemic. I got off track and gained 50 pounds. I'm back on track, but still struggling. Terry, we're here for you. And, I just want to say that you need to pat yourself on the back that you're back on track because it's so hard to get back on track, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
So even if you think that you are still struggling, ask some questions tonight. See if there's anything that we can help you with, especially Rodolfo. Use him. He's a great resource. So I just want to say, if you guys have any questions, make sure you're using the Ask a Question feature or you're asking it in the chat. And then we actually do have one quick question to start off. Is having a keto diet good for you after surgery? I'll let you both answer that if you want.
Sure, I can start and then I can let Rodolfo. I'd say really and truly, neither one of us are dietitians, but what I would say is that whatever works for you in your lifestyle, is probably what's best for you. And I mean, dietitians may say things differently. I think that, whenever you restrict yourself in any way, sometimes it does make things hard for your lifestyle. So, but if that works for you, that works for you. It's really, that's the most important thing, and something that is balanced. You want something that's balanced, so make sure you're getting all of your nutrition, including your vitamins and minerals. So, I mean, that's what I would say. Rodolfo, do you have anything to say about that?
I agree. Actually, when we were running the Balance program, we were asked that question a lot.
Oh, really?
Yes, a lot. And people always ask, like, what's the diet that I should be following, given the goals that we have. And I agree with Brenda that it's very personal. Like, you need to figure out what works for you. Because, for example, for me, it works to follow a Mediterranean diet, which includes everything, like in certain amounts. For some people, keto are going to work. And I think that it would be important to ask the perspective of a dietitian to tell if the diet that you want to follow is aligned with your objectives, because we all have different objectives. That's what I would like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, go ahead, Brittany.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and as long as it's, I want to say sustainable too, and it's realistic. You still want to have realistic expectations. So my only concern with keto is that, and you know what, it might work great for you, but I did try it and it just was, found that it wasn't something that I could do the rest of my life, like a lifestyle change. And that's really what we like to tell people, to think of food as like a lifestyle change. It's part of your change that you're making. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
And I also just want to say, when we're talking about Terry's question about getting back on track or whatever, what I want to say is it doesn't have to be hard, like really and truly. And I hope Rodolfo, tonight, his presentation, I think is going to help with that, because
I think so too.
A lot of what, like when any of us get off track with anything, it's about just making little changes, and really and truly just making the changes will be enough sometimes just to encourage you and kind of move you up to be able to step up to doing certain things. To me, anytime I have kind of like a plan in my mind, it kind of like relieves some of the stress and it makes me feel better. And when you feel better, you're more likely to be able to do the things that are necessary. When you're feeling hopeless and depressed and have a lot of anxiety, a lot of times it's hard to make those changes. But when you feel like you have the strength and the courage, and that's what mindset's about, guys. Would you agree, Rodolfo?
Yes, I totally agree. And actually, I would like to add something, because I was reading Terry's message, and there's something interesting related to this journey, which is that I think that it's a journey that lasts forever. Meaning, it's not about going back on tracks, it's about staying connected. always and forever. And sometimes your results are not going to be the results that you expect. But what I feel that is important is strongly and keep going and learning new tools. Because if you're stuck, for example, if you're in a stall, or if you gain weight, or you're not getting the results you want, that's because there are some tools that today you don't have. So the invitation is to keep going, nurture yourself, and get those tools that you are needing. And today I will give you some of those tools. So I would like to appreciate and say thanks for sharing that, because I imagine that a lot of the people that are connected to tonight, are struggling, and we all struggle in life, right? Actually,
yes,
in a while, I
definitely.
would like to share a little about my story too. But I've been struggling with my relationship with food, and today I can say that I have a balanced relationship, but after a long work, and it's something that you need to work forever. That's my message. That's going to be the first message.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
Rodolfo, for some reason, we're having I don't know if anybody else is experiencing, but it was your reception. I was having some in and out, and I don't see your picture right now. Brittany, are you experiencing the same thing? Are you seeing?
He froze a little bit earlier when he was talking, but I see him fine.
Okay.
Now can you
It's
see
just
me?
my camera.
Yes.
Yeah, I see him
Good.
fine. Let us know in the chat box if you guys can still see Rodolfo, please, and if you can hear
Yes.
him. Because if not, I mean, we want to. He's our guest, so I want to make sure that
Yeah.
you guys can hear him.
Yes,
It's kind
and
of
the other
important.
and the other thing that I would like to add is that sometimes my English is not the best. So if you didn't
Oh.
understand something, please let me know, because I will be glad to repeat any idea that you need. My focus tonight is to give you clarity. So if you need me to repeat something, or the screen froze or anything, please let me know.
Okay.
This space is for you. Yes.
Perfect.
I think they can see you.
Yeah, he was cutting in and out a little bit there for me a little bit, but I mean, I can see you fine, so. Terry goes, can.
Okay, so I say we get this party started again.
Let's do it.
We start?
Let's dive into everything.
Okay, perfect. So I would like to share something. Give me 1 second, which is something that you guys know, but maybe some of the people that are connected tonight, they don't.
He's back.
Leonard's with us.
Yes.
Leonard, say hi to everybody. He's like hiding.
He is. He's like
a fluff ball.
Okay, so can you see the picture that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, so that's to give a little of context about myself. As I told you, I have struggled all my life with my relationship with food. Okay, and today I can say that I have a balanced relationship with food, but that's after a long journey. When I was a kid, I was bullied, and I didn't know how to manage my emotions. Actually, I experienced a lot of anxiety, a sense of rejection, and I think that as a kid, I learned that food was a mechanism to experience pleasure and to disconnect from those emotions that were uncomfortable. So, since I was a kid, I had unhealthy eating habits. And every time that I was frustrated, sad, I was experiencing anxiety, etc., I knew that food was going to be there for me. What happened after that? I experienced guilt. I blamed myself. And then I tried to follow different diets. So I lost weight. But then what happened? I never worked on the mindset aspect. So the habits were the same, my emotions were the same, and the thoughts were the same. So guess what happened after that loss? I gained weight again. So I would say that until I was like 24 years old, I was gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, until there was a point that I learned about mindfulness and mindful eating, and I started understanding why I was eating, what I was covering with food. And that's what I would like to share with you today. I would like to share some tools that will allow you to comprehend how you relate with food and what is the function that food is having today in your life. Am I being clear? Let me know if you can follow me, please.
Oh
Very
yeah,
good.
no.
Very good.
Excellent.
Rodolfo, there is a question related to this.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I practice mindful eating, no distractions at the table. Funny thing, my nose runs when I'm full. I notice I feel the urge to stand up and leave the table on the last bite. How can I mindfully savor the last bite?
How can I mindfully what? I didn't understand the question.
Basically, what this person is saying, it's Karen. She's saying when she eats, she feels like she's mindful, but when
Okay.
she gets full, all at once her nose starts running. She has this physical reaction, and then she has an urge to stand up and leave the table before her last bite, before she's finishing, and it's hard for her at that very end part to mindfully savor those last moments.
hmm hmm So her question points to how to manage that situation in particular, that feeling in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I think that being mindful, I would like to talk about being mindful, okay? And then we like go to mindful eating. But being
Yeah.
mindful is associated to being the present. So if my nose is runny, or I'm experiencing that I'm full, or I'm listening to a noise, or whatever is happening, my mission is to be in the present moment and just allow myself to experience my experience. What we tend to do sometimes is that we want to disconnect from some experiences. So, for example, I'm sick and I'm experiencing an emotion such as anxiety, and I want to do other things, or I want to disconnect from what I'm doing, right? And maybe what I need to do is to stop for a while, experience the anxiety, and process the emotion, because that will make the emotion lower its intensity after. For example, when we are sad, when we allow ourselves to connect with our sadness, we can drain the emotion, we can release the emotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's a feeling that we are experiencing that is uncomfortable, maybe the invitation will be to allow yourself to experience the emotion for a while. That's going to be the invitation. And be in the present. That is being mindful.
I think that makes perfect sense. I love that answer. And I've never heard that perspective before. And I like it because it is very true. Like, not ignoring what's going on because that is happening to you and part of your experience, like taking it in. And then if you feel like that, really, maybe there's no reason that, like, sitting at the table is necessary whenever you have a specific feeling that you need to leave. Like, you're listening to yourself, you're listening to whatever's guiding you to leave. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that running nose is a part of the experience too, which is okay. And there are other components that will be part of the experience too, and they are okay. And it's okay to connect with those physical reactions, with those physical, I would say, sensations, and let that go, right? But don't resist it, because what we tend to do sometimes is that we want to disconnect from the experience. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, for example, why sometimes food can have a power over us, or can have a specific function, which could be cover our emotions. So the invitation is to be in the present, to allow yourself to experience whatever is happening in that moment. Yes. So to continue, I would like to share with you a schematic of a brain. Can you watch that schematic?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So I would say that there are three parts of the brain that are a part of our relationship with food, that interacts in the relationship that we have with food. Okay. So we have the lower brain, the limbic system, and the upper brain. So the lower brain is linked to our impulses. So, for example, if I'm hungry, if I'm thirsty, if I want to go to the bathroom, or if I'm sleepy, those impulses have to do with this lower brain. It's the instinctive brain. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the limbic system associated to our emotions. Which type of emotions? For example, anxiety, stress, frustration, sadness, angst, anger. It could be happiness too. but the limbic system is associated to the emotions. And then we have our thoughts, okay, which is the upper brain, related to the thoughts. And we can have some thoughts that sometimes are aligned with a healthy relationship with food. Like, for example, I can control myself, I can say no, I can make powerful decisions. That would be positive thoughts. But sometimes we have some thoughts that are limiting or are negative thoughts. Like, for example, I can't control myself. I am not good enough. Yesterday, I was in a workshop in Variation, actually, and we talked a lot about the limiting belief of I will fail. I'm a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those thoughts interact in the relationship with food. For example, if I'm telling myself that I can't control myself, that I can't say no, of course, that is going to produce anxiety, and then I will not be able to say no. So when we talk about being mindful, what I mean is to be aware of what is happening in our brains in those three layers. Because what happens, sometimes we just take something and we eat, and we don't know why we are eating. And the invitation is going to be in the present, connect with these three layers, and ask yourself, what is happening inside of me? Why I want to eat this chocolate? I want to eat because I'm hungry. Maybe I'm not hungry. I'm experiencing an emotion that I want to cover. Maybe I'm stressed, or maybe I just arrived home from work and I want to relax, right? Or maybe I'm eating this chocolate because I'm having a negative self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling myself that I'm not important, that I'm not worth it, and that this journey is not going to work. So what I'm doing is to be right with the limiting thoughts that I have. So the first invitation is to distinguish. Before eating anything, stop. And in that moment, you stop and you ask yourself, what's happening here? What are my thoughts? What are the emotions that I'm experiencing? What are my physical sensations? What are the impulses that my body is perceiving in this moment? Please let me know if you're following me. I would like to know.
Yes.
I'm following you, Rodolfo. I put my microphone on silent just so that I could listen to you because I don't want background noise, but I'm following you. And I think that really and truly, if any time that we got hungry, we did that little protocol where you just like really thought about, is it that I think about sometimes really how many times I really eat because I'm hungry, like
Yes.
actually a physical need. It's not very many. It's mostly I'm programmed to eat at a certain time, or maybe I'm just prepping myself so I don't get too hungry. But a lot of times, I have been an emotional eater too, so I know that sometimes when I'm bored, I eat. There's just a lot of different reasons. So
we do have a question. I want to make sure that we answer it. Isn't part of mindful eating being mindful of how your body responds and noticing cues to being full? For post-bariatric patients, runny nose tends to be a physiological sign of your pouch being full. So I think her question is just, isn't part of mindful eating just listening to how your body responds and looking for those physical cues, or?
So mindful eating is related to be mindful in the processes associated to eating, right? But what you could practice is mindfulness. And mindfulness is being the present moment and, of course, be connected with the physical reactions that your body is happening. So if there's a relationship between being full, for example, and a runny nose, that feeling will be showing something. And it's important to be connected to the moment, to pay attention to how your body is reacting, and then make a choice. So, for example, I know that I'm full and that I should stop eating.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my answer.
Okay.
Brenda is talking, but I can hear her.
Oh, Brenda, you're on mute.
There we go. There's another comment, but I think it's more of a comment than a question, but it kind of ties into that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Robin says, I had duodenal switch 22 years ago and have maintained my weight. I'm an Overeaters Anonymous. And below that, she said, I still eat compulsively and the program helps me. So, finding support that can help you be more aware. To me, it's all about awareness. Like, what would you say to that, Rodolfo?
Yes, I agree. It's related to understanding what we really need, which is something that we don't tend to do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as humans, we learned to disconnect from our bodies at some point of our lives. Okay. Actually, I did a workshop on emotional eating on Tuesday, and I explained how people turn into emotional eaters. Okay. And this is going to be helpful to answer the question. So, typically, what happens is that we are kids and our caregivers are not available for us in the way that we want. So, for example, I needed to be with my parents as a kid. I felt that I wanted to share more with them, etc., but they were not there for me. So I felt that I was alone. And as a kid, this world is a threat for
Mm-hmm.
us. We don't know how to solve our problems. We don't know how to meet our needs. So what we tend to do is to find external resources that can help us to cope with the emotion. Okay, that's what we tend to do. And food is a resource that when we eat will make us feel better. Every time that we eat something, our brain goes crazy. Like it gets happy because we release different hormones and neurotransmitters. Like, for example, serotonin, dopamine, and others. So, what I would like to say with this is about understanding what you really need. Maybe you have a feeling and you are experiencing loneliness and you are trying to cover that with food. Or maybe you are experiencing anxiety because you don't know how to solve some issues that you are going through in your life right now and you are eating. So the point here is to learn to understand what are your needs and how are you going to manage them without food. That's the challenge, which is something that for some people, and I include myself, sometimes is hard. Because there's a tendency when I was a kid, like I made up a habit. Like I got used to every time that I experience anxiety, eat something. So that's why I say that this is a work that needs to last forever. And we need to like be connected to our bodies, paying attention to what we need, be in the present. And if we are hungry, we need to eat because our body is needing something. But if we are experiencing an emotion, then what we need to do is to understand the needs that exist underneath of that emotion and meet those needs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so too. And then, Rodolfo, I just want to read this comment because I think it's very relevant. Lovey says, knowing you are full and wanting to keep eating could be related to being taught from an early age to clean your plate. That could be why you want that very last bite and need to tell ourselves we don't have to clean our plate. That's a difficult one to unlearn. And I just wanted to say I'm so happy that you said that and shared that because um, it's also being more mindful, I think, is sometimes untraining your brain to or relearning things and looking at things in a new perspective, right? Like I don't need to finish my plate. What I need to do is actually sit here and listen to my body and listen to when it's telling me that I'm feeling satisfied, right?
I love Lovey's comment because actually
Mhm.
the last week I uploaded a reel to my Instagram account related
Mhm.
to that limiting belief. Like I can't throw food away. That's the limiting belief, right?
Yeah.
And,
Uh-huh.
and it's a limiting belief that shows up a lot in my clients. And there's a feeling of like feeling guilt or blame themselves if they are throwing food away because that's something bad, right? And a way to reframe that thought is to think that if you're eating that food, you're not helping anyone, right? Because the thought is like, there's people that don't have food. I can't throw food away, right? Like, I need to use my resources. I need to be grateful with this food that I have. I totally get that. But the point here is that if you are eating that food when you're full, your body doesn't need that. And you're not helping the people that don't have food, right? So it could be better for you and others too to just throw that food or maybe try to save it. But if you can't, maybe throw it. And that's one of the reasons people sometimes eat when they are full, right? Because they have this limiting belief. Or there are more reasons, like, for example, that people want to just experience more pleasure, and food is providing a sense of pleasure. So I'm full, but I know that I could eat something else, and I'm experiencing an emotion, and I want to disconnect from the emotion. So I eat, for example, chocolate, or I have an ice cream, right? So that's one of the reasons. Thanks, Lovey, for sharing that. Do we have more comments?
Um, yes, we do. Lots of comments. Gosh, I mean, this is fantastic. I'm not complaining because this is the whole point of support groups is to be, social and talk, but we do have quite a bit of comments here.
Mhm.
Pam said, mine is loneliness because no one is home. Even my dog gained weight. Terry said, as a child, I was not allowed to leave the table until my plate was clean of food. Terry, that was me too. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's hard to unlearn that because in my family it was you're part of the clean plate club, so it was almost like an award to be prized or something.
Mhm.
And now it's I don't think that we should encourage that behavior. But yeah, there's a couple more comments. Brenda, did you want to read some of them?
Sure. One other thing when you were saying that though too is, and I've heard parents say this, like you can't leave the table until you eat your vegetables, or you can't leave the table until you eat a specific food either. And sometimes I think that kind of is the same too. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with maybe having kids try to experience different types of things just to see if they like them. But to me, to force a child to eat anything, I don't know. I guess I just don't know that that's it's an opinion. I just don't know that that's the best thing to do because that encourages them to feel like they have to do something even when their own body is telling them not to. But yeah, I'll read some more here. Let's see.
Can I add something related to that?
Yeah.
In terms of mindfulness and mindful eating, we should be in the present. And we have the thought sometimes that we need to eat until we feel full, which is not necessarily the case. If I'm hungry and I eat and I feel okay and I ate the portion that I needed, maybe it's going to be okay to stop eating. So the invitation that I would like to make is to connect to the body and listen to yourself. If your body is not communicating you that you are hungry, then you don't need to keep eating. That's not necessary. And of course, if you ate the portion that is required, right? Because sometimes we eat until we're full. And that's a belief, that's a habit, but that's not necessarily how things are supposed to be.
That's such a good point. Very good point. I think a lot of these comments are probably related to what we've been talking about. Amelia's is like she said that's why measuring the food is important for the long term, not just the beginning. Terry says good idea. Levy says just putting less, on our plate. So, serving sizes have increased over the years, and that is definitely truth, especially in restaurants. Yes,
Oh my
Twyla
gosh,
Beth
yes.
says when you're able to pack a picnic or sit out on the porch patio, you watch kids on nature. It says you can.
She was talking about Pam being alone,
Oh,
if she could just get out of the house. That was so sweet of her too to share that
yeah.
idea. This is why I love you guys. You guys all help each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Kathy says one workaround for the clean plate is smaller plates and smaller portions. Definitely. You can even, we've had Amanda Clark on here before, and she has a whole line
Yeah.
of plates called Portion Perfection, which encourages like really to look at your, like what types of food you're eating and the sizes of them. Pam says, in my house, you clean your plate when you get dessert. That's one thing too. Like if you eat all of your food, then you get dessert, which is even more food. Amelia says, one thing I do with my kids is negotiate 1 bite of this, 2 bites of that, not an all or
I
nothing.
love
It makes
that.
them go outside their bubble. Yeah, but it isn't forcing them on the extreme. Yeah, I like that too. Donna says, since surgery, I'm very rarely hungry and I get full very quickly. I cannot overeat even if I want to. Yeah, and
Hmm.
and really by overeating, sometimes I even think like that fullness factor, even one bite can make you be the difference between feeling comfortable and feeling over full. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, especially in the early phases, it takes a little while to judge that. Kathy said in
Yes.
desserts first.
So,
Okay.
Brenda and Brittany, I need to share something with you.
Yes.
So I prepared a presentation, and guess what happened? What usually happens with us?
I
That like
What?
know.
I have just shared like two slides, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the content. So yes, because I wanted to talk
Every
about
time.
beliefs, yes, and habits, and real and fake hunger. So you know what I'm
Ow.
going to do? I will focus this presentation specifically on in real and fake hunger and emotional
Okay.
eating, okay? And then we have some topics pending to cover in the future. How does that sound?
That sounds
That sounds
amazing.
good. Let us know, guys, if you want Rodolfo to come back too. Maybe we can finish the rest of it. I'm gonna actually put my mute button on, and we're gonna stop reading comments and questions for just a few minutes. How about we go till about 5:50, Rodolfo? We got about 7 minutes, and just kind of really focus on that, and then we're gonna take some questions and share kind of our closing so we stay on track. Does
Yes,
that sound
totally,
okay? So I'm going to put
totally.
my microphone on mute just to kind of do it. And guys, keep commenting, okay? But we're just going to let Rodolfo do so that you guys can learn a little more.
Thank you. So we have our brain, as I told you, and our brain has the three layers, right? And sometimes what happens is that our limbic system, which is the layer related to the emotions, is experiencing, for example, anxiety or stress or specific emotions that could be, for example, guilt, etc. And there's a part of the brain called the amygdala that reacts. And when this part reacts, we are not able to connect to our thoughts and come up with a creative solution. So what's happening, for example, is that sometimes I'm at home, I'm experiencing loneliness that someone shared on the chat, that example, and then I'm not thinking and I'm just eating something or I want to turn to food. Okay? So what we need to do, or what would be powerful to do and mindful, is before eating anything, okay? Stop, connect to your breath, and count to 10. So before eating anything, I want you to do that exercise because you will have to determine what is happening inside of you. And maybe you wanted to eat because you were experiencing real hunger, which is a pain at the level of the stomach, right? That starts after some hours without eating. Or you are eating because you are experiencing something that I call fake hunger, which is not that pain that I mentioned. And fake hunger can have different categories. So, one of the categories of fake hunger could be emotional eating or emotional hunger. So, you're experiencing an emotion that you want to cover. Or maybe you want to eat because you want to experience just more pleasure. So, for example, you went out, you are with friends, you want to have fun. So, why don't I drink something and I can eat something too? Right? So, to just get more pleasure and have more fun, I can eat something. Or sometimes we have the desire to eat because we have been exposed to a stimulus. For example, I'm walking by the street and I see a sign of an ice cream, right? Or it could be because we have some automatic habits or behaviors, like eating all the food that is in the plate. So the invitation before eating, and that's why I think that we're talking today about mindful eating, is to stop, connect 10 seconds to your breath, connect to your body, and that will allow you to distinguish what are the parts of the brain that are sending you messages related to eating. And you will understand if there's a thought that is emerging that is making you eat, or maybe there's an emotion that is emerging, or because you are really hungry, which could be another chance. And if you are hungry, you need to eat because your body needs fuel, right? That's what is happening. Some of the bariatric patients don't experience this feeling for a while. Okay, so maybe you're going to take some time to reconnect with the sense of being hunger, which is totally fine. In that case, my suggestion is to eat in those circumstances that your eating plan says. given the direction of your dietitian or your physician, right? Stick to that. And if you want to eat something additional to that, examine yourself. What am I experiencing? Why do I want to eat? But the invitation is to connect to the body. And what we tend to do is to disconnect from the body because sometimes these emotions are very uncomfortable. And as I told you, probably when we were kids, we needed to process some emotions and we needed something that wasn't available for that. And then we turned to food. And in that moment, we discovered that food was a coping mechanism and we are using that mechanism today. And there's some people that find other mechanisms, right? There's some people that turn to alcohol, there's people that turn to the phone, there's people that turn to work and they work all day. So we all have different coping mechanisms. We need to understand that. The point is that maybe eating or overeating could be a mechanism that could harm yourself. And the invitation is going to be to replace this mechanism. So please let me know if you have some questions. I want to know before continuing.
We have a question about, do we focus on all our senses, sight, smell, taste, touch, in a mindful eating experience?
That's great. Yes, actually, mindful eating is about being in the present and connecting to the senses. So, for example, if I'm eating something, right, I allow
Mm-hmm.
myself to experience the texture of the food. I smell the food. I allow myself to observe what I'm eating, the colors. I take the time to connect to the food because what we tend to do, we are in automatic mode and we eat, for
Mm-hmm.
example, watching TV. And I
Mm-hmm.
have read a lot that the sense of being full is related to being the present and allow our brain to understand that we are eating, which is associated to being aware and being connected to the senses. So feel the taste of the food, allow myself to experience the texture, the noises, for example. If I'm chewing, right, there are going to be some noises. Connecting, allow myself to connect to that, right? Which is something that we don't do. So I would say that there are two stages of mindfulness. One that could be prior to eating something. I allow myself to understand what is happening and why I'm choosing. And then after that, connect to the food and allow myself to experience pleasure, the pleasure of eating. Because sometimes we eat and we don't allow ourselves to experience pleasure and we're missing that experience, which is something that will impact positively in our well being and wellness.
Sorry, I forgot I was on mute. I think you answered that great. Perfect.
Yeah. And it looks like there's some comments. I just want to look through them real quick and see if there's anything.
They're
I think
sharing
they're
some
basically just
resources.
helping, trying to help each other, with the questions,
Perfect.
which I love. Thanks, guys. Keep doing that in the comment section. It looks like they're commenting amongst themselves, which is wonderful. So, Rodolfo, go right ahead. Keep going. We're right at 10 till. So, is there anything you'd like to say to even finish up what the notations that you have so far? You may have a couple more slides. I don't know.
Yes, give me 1 second because I would like to explain something, which is the relationship that our thoughts have in the relationship that we have with food. Okay, so I'm sharing right now a schematic with a sequence, which is thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and results. Okay, so I want you to imagine the following hypothetical situation. I'm post-op. I I'm like 1 year post-op. Actually, I finished with the honeymoon. Right now, I'm struggling a little. Maybe I'm in a stall, and I decided that I was going to stick to my eating plan 100%. Okay, so Monday I was able to follow my plan. Tuesday too, Wednesday too, and on Friday a friend invited me to an event, a celebration. Okay, so I go to this event and I arrive to this event, and when I'm there, someone offers me my favorite dish. which maybe is not included in my eating plan. Okay? So I want you to imagine what's going to be that dish for you. What's your favorite dish? And actually, you can share your dish in the chat. I would love to hear about your favorite dish. What I heard a lot is lasagna, sometimes say tacos, for others could be a cheesecake. So imagine what's going to be there, what they are going to offer you. And what we tend to do is that when we are in those situations and when we are in life, what we do is to make an interpretation of what is happening. So maybe I'm in that event, and when I'm in front of that dish, I will start having some thoughts. So maybe I will tell myself that I'm not going to be able to control myself, that I will fail, right? That this is a party, a celebration, how I'm going to say no, etc. And then those thoughts produce emotions and produce an inner state. So maybe when I arrived to the party, to the celebration, I was very focused, determined. But after having those thoughts and telling myself that I was going to fail, maybe now I feel insecure. I feel that I'm not going to be able to succeed. And maybe I'm starting experiencing anxiety, right? And I'm in front of that dish there, experiencing this anxiety. And then what is going to happen is that I'm going to start eating, probably. Because remember, when we're experiencing those emotions, then we disconnect from our thoughts and our decision-making processes. So we tend to act automatically. So I will eat what is there, right? And then I will have a result. What is going to be my result after eating? That I will weigh myself the next Monday, probably, right? And then the number that I see on the scale will not be a happy number. So why I'm sharing this sequence with you? Because a lot of people want to lose weight, but they are not aware of the impact that our thoughts have in the process. And being mindful is about being connected to the present, which would be aware of those thoughts too. If I'm telling myself that I will fail, that I'm not capable, or that I can't control myself, probably I will eat whatever is there and whatever was offered. And sometimes those thoughts operate inside of us unconsciously. So my invitation for you is to ask yourself, what is your current self-talk? What are you telling yourself? Because probably if today you are not getting the result that you want, that's because you have some thoughts that are sabotaging yourself. And what you need to address are those thoughts. There's no way that you will create a balanced relationship with food if you are thinking that you can't control yourself. That's not going to happen. So the beginning of this journey should be shifting the mindset and adding new thoughts that are aligned with the results that you want to achieve. Does that make sense? I have some answers related to the favorite dish, the chicken tikka masala and mac and cheese, and some 70s style jello desserts. Excellent.
I think those jello desserts is like, it must be a Midwest thing.
Yeah, sounds.
Because I still know a lot of people that make those still.
Right.
Sounds really good. Well, Rodolfo, I know we're kind of getting closer here. Would you like to kind of tell us now? Maybe I guess you could do a short summary of what you were talking about and tell them how they can get in touch with you further if they want to do what you offer as far as like more one-on-one or group coaching. So I'd love for you to share that.
Yes. So Terry shared pastel de choclo, which is something in Spanish that is like a shepherd cake, but like with corn. Yes. So
with corn?
Yes, with corn, which is good. It's good.
Oh,
yes, I like
okay.
it actually.
That sounds interesting. I would definitely try it.
It's good. So, before closing my participation tonight, I would like to invite you to follow me on Instagram. That's my Instagram account, Rodolfo Alvarez X. Actually, if you scan that code, you're going to be redirected to my Instagram account. And I have a surprise for the people that attend the support group today, which is the following. I have something, an activity called a discovery session. And what is a discovery session? I work one on one with the person and I guide the person through a process to discover the origin or of some emotional blockages that they can have today. So, for example, let's say that today I'm experiencing anxiety and I don't know how to deal with that emotion. Or I'm experiencing a sense of loneliness or stress, or maybe I'm telling myself that I'm not capable. What I do in the discovery session is help the person to understand the roots of that blockage, and I start giving them tools to start removing the blockage. As I told you, our thoughts are the most important thing here. If you are telling yourself that you are not capable, that you are going to fail, that you are not good enough, that you can't control yourself, then you're setting up the space for self sabotage. So, what I do in the discovery session is to detect those thoughts, go back in time, understand the moments that you built up those thoughts, and then I give you tools to remove the thought. So today I have 3 slots open for discovery sessions. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to paste the link in the chat to schedule a discovery session. So if you want to schedule one, you can click the link, fill the form, and then I will be glad to work with you one-on-one and meet you, because today we have been interacting, but by the chat. But I would like to learn from you and give you some tools to manage those blockages. That's the invitation.
Guys,
So
that's so exciting and so nice of Rodolfo.
And it's totally free. So
yeah,
please take advantage of this opportunity.
Oh, we got
myself.
I think we have another question too.
Yes, Terry. So please schedule your session. I would love to help you. And all the people that we're sharing today, take advantage of the opportunity, because some of you shared what you're struggling with about your emotions, about a sense of loneliness, some thoughts related to throwing food away. And at the end, that's related to not knowing how to manage the emotions too. Because probably if you throw food away or if you don't eat everything, then you feel guilt or you judge yourself. And that's what you need to manage. So
and sometimes it's just having somebody help you do that, be able to do that. Sometimes we think that we can clue in, but having somebody, just listening to you today, Rodolfo, kind of brought up some things for myself, like helping me to remember. It helps you remember, like some things but you just helps you remember. So that's wonderful. I thank you for the information. So the best way to get a hold of you is through Instagram, correct?
Sorry, what? The fastest way to reach out and contact me? Yes, by Instagram.
Yes, Instagram.
Totally.
And
yes.
Rodolfo, do you are you allowing so many discovery sessions? Do you charge for your discovery sessions?
No, the discovery session is totally free. And I have 3 slots for the people that attended today the workshop. So and the support group. So if you want to save your slot, please, you can click the link that I will share again, that is by the chat. Oh, I can share the link again because I already shared it. It's not allowing me.
Oh, it's up in the chat. You have to go back.
I'll go ahead. I'll copy and paste it. Maybe it'll let me redo it.
Thank you, Brittany. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
It did. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, if you want to save your slot, you can. It's totally free. And I have a coaching program where I help people to transform eating habits. But I would say that the discovery session is the best approach, is the best way to start working. So if you would be interested in learning more about my methodology, first take a discovery session and we're going to work together. And then we're going to see and check if we are a good fit for each other.
Awesome. We do have a quick question, real quick. Amelia asked if she can promote her blog. She has quite a bit of bariatric friendly recipes on there, as well as older entries with resources yes, I have no problem with that. Absolutely. Brenda, don't you agree? I mean, that's kind of the whole point of these support
Yeah.
groups is to share other resources that you guys think has helped you. So please do. Yes, I would love that.
And
And then Cynthia said, how do I join? So Cynthia, if you're talking about getting that discovery spot with Rodolfo, you would just click the link that I posted in the chat, and I think that's how you would get that.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Um,
You click the link
that
and
was all
then
I was going to say,
you
though.
can schedule your time. Yes.
yeah, thank
And we
you.
have
And
3
then
slots.
3 slots. Hurry up. Um, get your message in. One other thing I want to say is Jasmine asked, how will my attendance be reported back to my provider? This is the first time attending. Also, I'm having trouble with service, so I may need a response through the chat box. So basically, I'll mute myself so you guys can't hear me typing, but these events are, I wait about a week to gather the data for the live and for the replays, and then I send them by email to the providers 1 week after. So if your program is subscribed with getting those attendance lists, then I will be sending them to them. If you have a question whether or not they received the attendance list, you could reach out to them and ask them. But I have quite a few that I do send attendance lists to. So I hope I answered your question, but I'll type it in the chat box. And I'm actually going to be turning things over to my computer. I didn't realize I didn't have it plugged in. It's getting dim on me here. Plug it in. I'm going to kind of turn things over to Brittany, and we're going to give a big shout out to our sponsor here. So I'll let Brittany kind of do that.
Oh, we do have a another surprise for you tonight. In addition to Rodolfo's very generous gift of the 3 slots for the exploratory session, we are also going to be offering you guys a discount code for any purchases that you would like to make on our website. So I'm going to show you what our website looks like here. And our support group code, maybe Brenda, you can type that in for me. It's just August SG, since this is our August support group. I thought I'd just keep it easy for you guys. And there is no, it's not case sensitive is what I was trying to say. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes? Perfect.
Yes. Bundle and save.
Yes. So that's our first thing here, actually. So this is our summer bundle that we have currently going on. It's still going on. It's regularly over $100 worth of products, and right now we're offering all of these 3 products for a limited time for $74.99. And yes, the discount code that I'm going to give you, you can use that for that too. It's 10% off your entire order. So yeah. If you're not familiar with ProCare Health, the first thing I want to show you guys, Leonard's done. The first thing I want to show you guys is the free sample here. I would urge anyone, if you, especially if you're pre-op and you're really stressing out about what you're going to do for your vitamins, order a sample box from ProCare Health, because we're going to send you one of just about everything that we offer. And if you have any particular products or flavors that you would like to try, like our new protein powder, maybe you want to try chocolate over vanilla or vice versa, just make sure that you notify that here in the message description here below, and we will always do our best to fulfill these sample orders with any requests that you have. Now, if you're new to our website, you can shop all of our vitamins just by clicking the products link here. It's just divided by categories. So we have our bariatric multivitamin, our calcium supplements, proteins, and then there's extra supplements in there for anyone who's looking for extra zinc or magnesium or yeah, anything like that. And then lastly, I want to show you guys, we do have an awesome support group handout page. It's filled with a ton of resources. So Amelia was nice enough to share her blog that has some resources as well. This is kind of similar to that, but it has all kinds of recipes here. We did some with Maddie Spar. Rodolfo knows Maddie.
Yeah.
We love Maddie.
Yeah, we love Maddie.
We love Maddie. Love Maddie. So, and we actually sushi we did a sushi recipe with Henry
Henry.
Baker. Yes,
Good.
we love Henry too. So yeah, and you know what? Actually, if anybody would ever be interested and you think that you are passionate enough and you want to talk about a topic you would like to come on, feel free to email us. Right, Brenda?
100%. Yes. And I'll put my email too.
I was going to say, I'm actually going to just put Brenda's. I'm not going to put mine just because I'm going to be transitioning soon. So I would hate to someone to email. I'm not getting back to them. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because that's basically my spiel with that. And I'll hand it back over to you two and let you guys wrap it up. Anything you want to say?
I just want to ask, the support group code was August SG, correct?
Yes, August SG. Okay. All one word. And it's not case sensitive, so should work. It's 10% higher order. So if you want to try the bundle, that would be a good time to save too.
And Amelia says, including some
Thanks,
ProCare
Amelia.
product shout outs. Thank you. That's so sweet.
Amelia.
And actually, anybody on this call, if you do any kind of social media stuff or you're an influencer or anything, we do actually have an affiliate. I can't talk. An affiliate program. Brittany, can you talk?
Yes, we have an affiliate program. And so, yeah, if you're interested in learning more about ProCare and how you can be a part of the ProCare team by being an affiliate, you can also reach out to Brenda or myself about that. And we'd love to schedule a time to talk to you and see if you would be a good fit for your affiliate program.
100%. I'm eating a mocktail, calcium chew, and I got choked on it.
I can say something. I can say that I have just one slot available now. So.
Oh my gosh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys better act on it. I feel like we're on QVC. It's so exciting.
Yeah, so exciting. So thanks for all the people that already registered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for anyone watching the replay, I mean, you'll always have slots open eventually, right? So even if there's no spots open, if someone watches this replay and they're interested, they should still reach out to you, right?
Yes. Probably I will tell you to just wait a little because I have some slots open for the month. You know, every month I open some slots. So right now I have some open, so that's totally fine. And if I'm full, I will schedule for later, but that's it. Yes. So reach out. You're going to get your session later or earlier. Yeah.
Well, Rodolfo, we're just going to have to plan to have you back.
I love that.
Since we didn't finish.
Whatever you want.
How much more of your presentation did we not finish this time?
A lot. I showed like 5 slides and we had like 20 slides, but that's fine. Don't worry. We have more.
So I will contact you and we're going to talk again. So be prepared, guys, because I know they want to hear you again. And everybody that's out there, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for being a part of our program. And everybody, enjoy your evening. Have a great one. And we'll talk. We'll be together again soon. Maybe Brittany will be with us for next week's live event. But after that, August 31st is her last day. Mm-hmm. So make sure and join us while she's still here.
And Rodolfo, I'm going to message you on Instagram so we can meet up next week because I really do want to see you.
Yeah, we will be in touch and keep in touch forever. So that's fine. Yeah, please.
That sounds Rodolfo, great. Well, bye, everybody.
Yeah. See everybody later.
See you later.
I'll email her. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.